The Chuck Banks Experience is brought to you by Coaching Culture and Athletics. Coaching Culture and Athletics was created several years ago by myself and a few coaches to shoot out the negativity that's fostered in sports. So what I figured is, you know what? I'm going to go for it. I'm going to bring the Chuck Banks Experience to a whole new level, to a whole new listening department, and just fire it away. Sit back and enjoy the ride, folks, because we're going to just let it go. The Chuck Banks Experience, a Dog Pound radio affiliate, also within Coaching Culture in Athletics. We are sponsored by Turn 2 Workshop, Stan Schmidt. Check it out on Facebook, Turn 2 Workshop today. And if you would like to be a guest, give us insight, foster a better planet, well, email us, coachingcultureandathletics@gmail.com. That's coachingcultureandathletics@gmail.com. So here we go. Here's Chucky. First segment of the Chuck Banks Experience this week. We are getting ready for another school year. So we're going to be having all kinds of meetings and regulations and things like that. I also want to send out a birthday. My brother is going to turn into an old fart. Well, he already was, but he's got a birthday on August 19th. So happy birthday, Joe. Love you, man. I hope you're listening in, because sometimes I talk about weird things, and sometimes those brother conflicts and things, they show up, and they're just a lot of fun to share. But this week's going to be about learning, creativity, getting fired up for another school year. And that school year is going to start with students. It's going to start on Friday, but there's a lot of teachers that they're going to say, I don't want to get up, and their spouse is going to say, school has officially begun, and it's going to take place. Now this year, I'm kind of coming in hot with kind of a different perspective. Anytime that you have a health scare or anything that's going to create a change, whether negative or positive, it changes your reasoning, who you are, and who you're going to become. This year, I tell you what, man, I think the filter's off, but the positivity, the zest for life, the ability to reinvigorate a classroom and help people out there that need it. And also to all teachers, educators, administrators, coaches alike, remember, no child is going to be the same, even if they're going to come back to you this year. Every experience, every reality, every bit of it is going to be promoted to a new chapter. And I think that's always important to denote. And as a teacher and as a coach, I've always kind of put to the back burner when another instructor says, "Oh my God, you have that kid," and then, you know what? I try to reach those kids in a positive manner, and I feel like I do a decent job at it. But this year, it's one thing. It's one thing that I was excited in years past. But this year, I feel like I have a renewal of life, and that's what's truly exciting. And again, there's a lot of anxiety, with shifts and changes and things like that within education. But it's coming, man. And this week, I'm going to be interviewing some other teachers, coaches, instructors to get their insight on what pumped them up. And are they ready for this 2024-2025 school year? I know I am, but it's going to be a lot of fun. So sit back and relax and enjoy it. Here recently, I believe it was last night, I was laying on the couch trying to catch my breath because I overdid it. Yes, I overdid it. I had a heart surgery. It'll be 2 weeks. It'll be 2 weeks ago this Wednesday, August 22nd. And, I overdid it on Sunday afternoon. And I'm listening to these news sources and sites and things like that. And you know what really drove me crazy? something that really kind of ticked me off, pissed me off. I'll just say it. There was a lawmaker from various states. There were a couple of them, for that matter, that stated this. You know what? If we had math instructors that majored in math, got a BA in math, they would be better teachers than the teachers than a 4-year education degree. Number one, are you an idiot? Moron, pain in the ass, whatever. I'm going to get on my soapbox here, but here's the deal. Teachers not only have to get a degree in a particular field like math, but they also have to get a degree in a particular field called education. So, you stating that these mathematicians that are majoring math are you're assuming that they're not also taking education classes. You're a moron. And number one, if you're in politics and you were a past teacher, an administrator, or whatever, and you're in politics and you're elected and you're making those statements, you're an even bigger idiot. I tell you, on my soapbox, and again, this is the Chuck Banks Experience brought to you on the Coaching, Culture, and Athletics Radio Broadcast Network. The views and opinions discussed in this podcast are not necessarily associated with coaching, culture, and athletics, but it is, right? Chuck Banks Experience, this is my baby. This is separate from my Dog Pound Radio, which focuses on the local sports and that sort of stuff. So this is my baby, man. This is my directive. And you know what? I'm not going to let people stop me from doing my passionate talks ever again. Would you believe that I worked for a school district years ago that kind of put a kibosh on my podcasting just because I was talking about aliens and UFOs and ghosts and weird shit? Yeah, I can't believe it either. But it stuck me. I was a people-pleasing, what do you call it? A people-pleasing overthinker prior to all my health issues. I'm no longer that. I'm done. I'm going to say what's on my mind. You know what? I'm going to be cordial. I'm going to be professional, but I'm going to say what's on my mind. And that's just the way it is. Number one, I see it all the time. There's even on my friends list, they make statements like, hey man, it's not my student loan, blah, blah, blah. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay because free speech is huge. All right. The Constitution's huge. But I made a statement, and I promoted it. If you hear the dogs in the background, remember Dog Pound Radio. Okay. But you know what? I made a statement on somebody's Facebook. Imagine that. Okay. I said, what if I just cashed out my Social Security that I've been paying in for, okay, I got to figure it out here. Okay, I got to do math. All right, politician, even this social studies and special education teacher can do math, right? So I'm 51 years old. I've been working since I was 14, okay? I paid in a lot of Social Security. So that should cover my college education, all right? I also work in the public sector. I'm a huge proponent that the public sector, whether it's education, whether it's police, whether it's the prisons, the firefighters, okay, we have a huge role in the society and the public sector that we call our home. And, wholeheartedly, shouldn't we get a little bit forgiven? Even if it's just a tenth of a fraction, because we are working our butts off, paying high mortgage rates, just like you, paying high grocery bills, just like you. Yes, we chose to, take out more education, but you know what? We thought we would further our education so we would be basically more reliable in the classroom to educate all of our students. Okay? So, that's kind of a soapbox of mine. Can I use my social security? And you know what? I got attacked for it. Oh my God, you can't do that. Blah, blah, blah. And you know what? The government wouldn't let us. And here's why. Because Social Security is going to be freaking broke. We know that. And you know what? They've been saying that stuff for years and years So, it just kind of is what it is. So that's kind of my soapbox on that. Now, also, another thing that I've noticed, especially this summer, is when you make a blanket post. How many out there have a blanket post? And as a teacher, man, I'm hoping you're raising your hand right now. Okay, we all make blanket posts, but everyone assumes or they chime in based on their own personal experience. Okay, Covey, all right, Sean Covey made a statement that sticks with me, and it will stick with me to the end of time. Listen to understand, don't listen to respond. And that is a huge component in our daily lives that we should live up to. Because I'm here to tell you, since 2020, since the COVID lockdown, everyone's speaking to respond. It's real easy to be the keyboard captain of the world. You know what? This summer, I've been called a commie. I've been called a leftist. I've been called a dumbass. All right? And I'm none of those things. All right? And here's the kicker. As a government teacher, I always pushed the student to basically hear all the facts from both sides and come up to their own conclusions, because you know what? I grew up in a household where politics was shoved down my throat. Okay? I wanted to create and foster an educational environment where the student could, frankly, not know what the hell political side I was on. Now, when they graduate, I tell them. I've had pages here in the state of Iowa go to, both Democrats and Republicans. Okay, both Democrats and Republicans pages, and I've had several students that decided to work for various campaigns, whether it's Democrat or Republican, and they both did it. And you know what? None of them knew my political affiliation, which is great. It's fantastic. And I'm here to tell you, man, I'm not a Republican nor a Democrat. I'm a freaking American. And I'm proud of that. Damn sure not a communist. So anyway, back to education. The state of education this year, okay, unlike previous years, is going to be in disarray. And there's a lot of reasons for that. Because the lawmakers are making almost 90% of the decisions based on recollections and what educators can do. I got to throw this out there, okay? In the 80s, yes, that's dating me a bit, but in the 80s, Iowa was consistently either number one or number two in education. Number one or number two in education. A big part of that was the ability to unionize and collective bargain. Okay, I'm not saying that I agree or disagree with collective bargaining, but I'm just going to throw that out there. I did lose a job from some bargaining this past summer. Kind of pisses me off, but it is what it is. Okay, the ability to collective bargain and the ability to keep the lawmakers out of our business. What most people don't understand is the Department of Education, the federal Department of Education, wasn't even established until the Jimmy Carter administration, which was wanting to promote and improve education in the failing states. Now, republicanism designed, or federalism designed for states and federal government and all the institutions along the way to work together to foster the better good for our government. All right, federalism. It's an important term to denote. The local board of control lost some of their power, and some of that power went to the state. Then the state started to lose some control. No child left behind. And as that happens, that power goes to the federal level. Well, not necessarily 100%, but here's what happens, okay? So the federal level says, hey, man, we're going to give you money for a particular, program, and you have to do it because we're going to make it legal. Okay, so they're saying, hey, dude, we're going to make this legal, and this is the way it's going to be. So they make that statement. And then at the end of the day, what happens is, you know what? Oh, shit, we got to go to war. Okay, so we got to go to war. So we do not have the funded funds. I can't even spit it out right now. We don't have the funds available for your basically we made it law where you have to do these things and you have to finance these things. So, but we're not going to give you the funds to do it. So then it pushes it at the state level. Now you're required to go through a particular mandate and a hoop. A lot of people don't understand that. Now, I used to teach that in my government class all the time. And if some of my students don't remember that, they slept through class, shame on them. So anyway, as we get through this, or as we start this school year, my tact on life is to not hammer the system. We can't hammer local board of control when it's out of their hands. Much like law enforcement, okay? Law enforcement have budgets, okay? And I'm going to shoot this out there. My very good friend, Sheriff Weber, has done an amazing job. My dad was sheriff too, and he got hammered on these aspects as well. The state mandates a certain amount of basically regulations on what you can do within your particular county. They put that and make that law, but then they cut your funding. So when that happens, sometimes people are moved around, jobs are changed, and you have to have restructuring, or you don't have money for certain items. And when that happens, that's out of their hands. But everyone seems to blame the administrator in charge. Much like what's going on with a lot of the blaming when you talk about Sheriff Weber, who's doing a great job, remarkable. Vote Sheriff Weber. And also in education, it's the same thing. People gripe and moan about the local board of control, okay, the school board, the administrators, and all that sort of stuff. People gripe, even teachers, okay? But what they don't understand is they don't understand that it's out of their control. So, I challenge all of our educators, I challenge all of my listeners to basically be positive this year. We're all in this together, and we have to work harder. We have to work harder for our children, because it's not about us. It's not about the adults in the room. It's about our kids. And once we think and we push everything that's going to be student-centered, education is going to be a lot better. And so will society as a whole. I'll be right back. Hey everybody, this is going to be part 2 of the Chuck Banks experience for this week. Anyway, I just wanted to touch base, engage, and let everybody know kind of, what's going on, and, in the Chuck Banks world. But anyway, if you get a chance, be sure to follow us. All you got to do is type in Chuck Banks experience on Spreaker. You can do it on Spotify. You can do it on iHeartRadio. Unfortunately, we're not an Apple Music affiliate at this point. All you got to do is share the love, listen to us, engage, and it's going to be a super exciting experience. So anyway, I'm sitting here. My 2 beagles are kind of in the background, so if you hear them, great. If not, maybe I can get him to howl, once or twice here in the second segment. But anyway, in the first segment, I was talking about education. I was talking about politics and that sort of stuff. But anyway, in this one, I want to talk about engagement. I want to talk about engagement with your friends. Did you know that those out there that are on your friends list, or that you're personally friends with, that oftentimes they're kind of the last to share your stuff, whether it's your books, whether it's your podcast, whether it's anything in that genre. And I'm unsure why that takes place, but it does, and it does quite often. A little help goes a long ways, and your friends, you have to lean on your friends and your family members to engage with you in that process. But it is amazing how many strangers out there that I'm not face-to-face friends with that are willing to share my stuff, and it just drives you a little freaking crazy, man. I'm just saying, and again, it is what it is.
Share your friend's crap. Okay, support your friend's small business. Okay, so I'm off my soapbox. Also, this school year, in part two here, it's going to be very important that us as teachers and as those in education, we have to set boundaries, and we have to set clear boundaries in regards to our social emotional health. Okay, so I talked about social emotional health, and this is the buzzword, folks, that's out there. We are trying to consistently help our students out. I didn't mean to hit the lightning there, but we're consistently working on the social, mental, and emotional well-being of our own students, our student athletes, our parents, our community members. But we also have to focus on ourselves as well. And I think I think that's key there. Okay. There's more than one way to skin a cat, and the way that you can utilize who you are, and your stakeholders, and really work with them, is we have to tread pretty lightly in today's day and age, because unfortunately, we're so used to the bullshit. Whether it's somebody that's pretending to be your friend, or that's candy coating everything, that anytime that we have concrete discussions with one another and we're frank, we come across as an asshole. Not necessarily the being, though. We're not trying to come across negatively. We're merely trying to be direct. And I think I think we could all take a little bit from that. That if someone's direct, it doesn't mean that they're being a butthole and they're not attacking and that sort of stuff. So that's got to be pretty clear and concise as well. Social emotional well-being. Okay, we have to take care of ourselves as educators as well, teachers. Administrators have to do the same thing, man. You have to set a healthy boundary. That means that phone calls and text messages and that sort of stuff, it's got to end at a certain point, and it's just got to happen. You have to set those clear boundaries. Now, this is something that it's a buzzword. We've all heard it. What do they call it? Work-life balance. Anyway, I got to put something on there. Work-life balance. Yay! Work-life balance. I'll do another one. Okay. So work-life balance, if you're in education, is non-existent. And I'm just throwing that out there. Yeah. Consistently over the course of my career, and you know what? If I get in trouble because of this, you want to call me on the carpet, whatever, because I'm just being direct. But work-life balance, I chose education as a passion, as a love, and it kind of chose me, and it loved me back, if that makes any sense. And it's about kids. This isn't about our old egos and our vendettas and our fighting and our bickering. This is about the kids. Education is about the kids, and that's why we got into it. We got into education to change the better and create a better society. It's going to foster lifelong learners. Okay, all those buzzwords, right? We all got into it for the right reasons. So we have to sometimes set that healthy boundary to say, hey, man. It's okay to be direct and come back and have those concrete conversations without us all getting upset and stuff like that. But anyway, I'm kind of an emotional dude, kind of like my emotional meatball friend, Rocky Stochi. He's a mobster production. Be sure to check him out. But I just get so caught up sometimes in the rigmarole that is education. And damn it, 20 years ago, this was a lot different. The kids have not changed. We have changed in our modality. And I think that's something that's important to look at too. And again, to the guy that called me a commie, kiss my butt. I didn't say ass tonight. I said butt. Because I am far from a commie, young man. All right, so that's enough about education and politics and getting everybody butthurt. By the way, I do have a book. It's called Around the Dinner Table: Religion and Politics: The Butthurt Saga. All you have to do is type in Charles Banks, Amazon author, and I have a plethora of books available from the paranormal and the strange to politics and, getting dirty or to the betterment of your life. Like the life of an overthinker that I wrote, and it's a book that I think is off the charts good, but unfortunately, with the current reach and social media and being blacklisted, and I don't know whether whatever it is, shadow banned, I think is what some people call it. Unfortunately, the little guy does not get a good fair kick in society, and I have a lot of books and a lot of podcasts, folks. Check it out. Just check it out. Anyway, health wise, I got some not so good news today. I'm not going to share what it is, but not so good news. But I can guarantee you this: I'm going to give you a great Chuck Banks experience as much as I can, and let's kick some ass and take some names, and we are out of here.